Okay, so welcome back everyone to the 10th episode here of Fjordur. Where has it been? Well, for those who haven't noticed already, the last time I went to record this episode, OBS did not record the audio, and it has taken me this long to get around to motivating myself to actually do something about that. So I recorded the episode not long after the 9th episode, whenever that was actually released. I think that's looking at 4 months ago or so now. Sat down a couple of days later to edit it and discovered that there was no audio at all. My voice, the game, gone. So it took me a week or so to decide that what I would do was cut the video down and voice it over. I cut the video down and then could never bring myself to actually voice it over. So finally today decided to sit down and do it, because I don't want to just scrap this series or this episode, because some relatively important things happened in it, as we will get to. So as you can see, we went to explore the realm Vanaheim, because I wanted to go to one of the different realms. I can't remember if I cut it out or not, but I had tried to go into the Asgard realm in either the 8th or 9th episode, but we were just not really prepared for that area, so I don't think I stayed there particularly long. So this one was meant to be a little bit easier, so we could come here with just our Deinonychus and have a little bit of an explore around and see what we could find. I'd also read somewhere that gachas could spawn here, so they were one of the main things that we came here looking for. So we went for a little bit of an explore around, looking at some of the pretty scenery that we could find, which I had to say I was pretty impressed with. I gradually made my way northwest along the map, as that's where I had read that the gachas were able to spawn, and I did eventually find a pair after getting my Deinonychus off of attacking them. I'm not entirely sure why that happened. One of the gachas was a 145, so we gathered up the stone and went about taming it. Gachas are pretty easy to tame. You just walk up to them and drop materials in front of them. Pretty much any resource will do. Stone, I think, is the most effective base resource other than element, but who really has tons of element lying around to feed a gacha? Obviously structures are more efficient, but I really wasn't that bothered about the taming effectiveness, as I was just looking at them for now as a source of resources rather than looking at the crafting skill for getting, you know, good items or whatever, which is the other thing you can do with them that way. So I stood and watched him eat up his pebbles. He took his sweet time. When he'd finally finished gorging himself on those delicious rocks, we finally had him tamed up. We had one gacha. Now I just needed to try and find a female, as that way I could breed the gachas to get ones for each of the resources I would need. This one had black pearls, silica pearls and oil as its rare ones, which fairly handy. Black pearls is a relatively uncommon one to get, so this one I was pleased with. After a little while of searching around, I managed to find another 150 male gacha. Fortunately this was another male, but I wasn't going to say no to an extra high level gacha. So again I gathered up some stone, collected some crystals that they'd left lying on the floor, and went about feeding the 150, while gathering more gacha crystals. This level 20 came over and helped itself to some of the pebbles lying on the floor, so I got it a little bit of extra stone to make sure I was definitely going to tame them. The level 20 tamed. Wasn't entirely the sort of level I was looking for, but it was at least a female gacha, so there were some benefits to it. And the 150 tamed. The 150 had sulfur, clay and oil, so not as good as the first one, but still a high level gacha nonetheless. The female had organic polymer, which is another handy resource to get. And, as I said, was a female, so I could now breed my gachas, so I decided this was probably good enough. I didn't need to search around for yet more high levels, I could just breed them together to get the perfect combination of stats, and then breed out a little army of gachas from that. I don't know why, but I decided to kill this gacha. I don't know why I did it. I feel cruel about it now, rewatching it, but for some reason I did. Moving on a little further, I found a little cave, surrounded by basalt, which usually only means one thing. Heading inside, I was correct. It was indeed this realm's wyvern trench. So cautiously peeking my head in, spotting that there appeared to be no wyverns nearby, I made my way towards the nearest 2 nest holes I could see to see. And the keen-eyed among you may notice to the right there is indeed an egg in that nearby one. So I went closer to find out what level it was. It was unfortunately only a level 25, but since I could only see 1 wyvern in the entire area, I decided to take it and make a run for it. Unfortunately, I wasn't going that quickly, as the egg weighs 50 pounds, and so weighed my Deinonychus down rather significantly. So I just jumped frantically, as it's slightly faster than running when over-encumbered on the Deinonychus, and hoped I could get away from the wyvern. I encountered an interesting bug after jumping into the water. I'll give you all a few moments to enjoy this one. I've never seen something swim quite like it. It's truly majestic. I think he temporarily became a seahorse. I foolishly believed that the wyvern was no longer chasing us. Upon realizing my mistake, I made a run for it. Realizing I was not going to be able to outrun the beast, I decided to stand my ground and fight, making importantly sure to dodge the poison balls which would be able to hit me off the back of the Deinonychus, and therefore could end up killing me quite quickly since I have no gas mask. As you can see, my dodging of them was incredible. Jumping around like an idiot, dodging the poison balls for a bit, I went back on the offensive. That was a close one. At last I slayed the beast. I made sure to take its talon, as it might be useful later. I don't actually know what any of the summon requirements for any of the bosses on this map are, but I believe you're meant to be able to fight all 3 titans and at least all of the main bosses from the island, I think? I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out as we go, I guess. After healing on up, I was back on my way. I discovered a dung beetle, and it was a reasonably high level, so I decided I'd tame it. Checking first to see if it was possible to use owl pellets. It wasn't. I next attempted to try raw prime meat, for some reason. I have played this game before, I swear. And finally remembered that I could actually just feed it meat, so went about that. Yes, by the way, I do know you can feed it poop. I had tried to get my Deinonychus to, but he wasn't ready, and nor was I. So I had to wait on that one. After a little while, I finally tamed it up, put him in a soul ball, and then went to head home. And that was the episode. So, as you can see, a few fairly important things happened, like the taming of Gatchas, the obtaining of, albeit low level, but still, a wyvern egg. And so I didn't want to just cut that out and have people going, "Where did you get this from?" Well, this is where I got it from. So this will probably be a very short episode. I kind of want it to be, because I think without the game audio, it'll probably be a bit more difficult to watch compared to some of the others, because the audio will be weird because it's me talking over it rather than live at the time of the recording, and there's no game audio, so yeah. Hopefully though, this at least provides filler between now and the next episode. The other thing is, though I will discuss it in the next episode once I've fully decided, I am thinking of swapping over to having a server rather than running it from my single player, as I find I tend to play those easier just because it makes some of the grinding a bit easier when I can just leave things like refining forges to go overnight or whatever. And it will work a bit better for the gacha resources farming, as the time I can play the game is a little bit limited, so I need those sorts of overtime while I'm not on farming methods in order to actually have the resources to do stuff. So I will probably do that, but as I say, I will decide for certain, because the only problem is I can't transfer like my structures, so the house wouldn't be able to come with me. But anyway, hopefully you all enjoyed that, and yeah, I will see you all in the next one, as I should be able to get the ball rolling with this series again, now that this episode is out of the way. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you in episode 11.